Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel. I'm your host Superman, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy this session as well. Just let me double check the audio here. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this session. Now, I've had a few people ask me about sacrificing late in the PulseChain phase, so we're going to look at that now, and yeah, just talk about that generally speaking. So I thought it'd be a pretty good topic. I've had quite a few people contact me directly asking about that. Should I sacrifice now in the PulseChain late? Should I buy, or should I buy Hex or something like that? So we're going to have a look at that. So welcome. Let's get into the chat. Some of the comments there. It looks like my audio's up and running pretty nicely. So welcome. As you know, I'm super excited about PulseChain. Now PulseChain's going to have basically a system state copy of Ethereum. It means you can have projects all over the place, ERC20s, 721s, to NFTs, all that sort of stuff is going to be amazing. And I'm super excited that the fact that you can get that biggest airdrop in history, get the price discovery, super pumped for all the fundamentals as well. Remember, PulseChain will start off with a fixed supply, and it only goes down. It's deflationary, only goes down. So that's huge gamification pumpamental, and I love it. But anyway, let's get straight into the topic for today. We got tinfoil hats in there. PulseChain to the moon. I'm so excited to see how high it goes. Absolutely, I am too. I'm super pumped. So let's get into some of the stuff. Obviously, we've got the sacrifice here. PulseChain, energy efficient, cheaper, faster, fee burning Ethereum fork. Now the sacrifice phase is over. So that's the official sacrifice phase. And of course, now we have what people are calling the mercy phase of the sacrifice. And so that means it's pretty much after the original sacrifice phase is ended, we've moved into the mercy sacrifice phase, and people are still sacrificing. And sometimes some people are sacrificing huge amounts. As we said the other day, someone had sacrificed something like 300,000 US dollars late just a couple of days ago. And the rates are really, we're going to check out the rates in a second. The rates are really different from when you first got in. So if you got in on the ordinary official sort of sacrifice phase, you did pretty well. 10,000 points for $1, that sort of thing. And it went up to about $1.98 for to get half that amount, 5,000 points or so, or 10,000 points. So pretty amazing stuff. Let's get quickly into it. Obviously, the official phase is over. Do not sacrifice any more money. But of course, Richard has honored the people there. Now, let's just, I don't know if we've got still got the chart in here. No, that's taken off now. So, but that was the details. The sacrifice was over. But of course, Richard wanted to honor people that still wanted to sacrifice so that they wouldn't, either complain. But the penalty is pretty high. It's been going up as a factor of 1.05 per day compounding. So it's pretty big, a pretty big result. And Alex Gates is in the house. Alex Gate, our head moderator on this channel, another pulse stream. Yeah, me too. So Alex is pumped as well about PulseChain. Tinfoil hat is definitely pumped. And so this is a pretty cool topic. All right, so this is the sacrifice. Let's get into it. So here we are. We've got the sacrifice period on chart here. This is a pretty cool chart. And of course, the sacrifice period on day one is this highlighted in the turquoise here, or baby blue. You got day 1 to 19, and you've got the starting off with $1 for 10,000 points. All right, so it's the US rate per 10,000 points. You got the sacrifice period is here. Very cool. Now, this chart isn't mine. This is created by somebody else, but it does look good. So we're going to go through this. It's got zero. You got turquoise here, baby blue. So dollar here on day one, and of course that was true up to day 5. If you remember day 5, so all 10,000 points for $1, and then of course it slowly went up right up to the final one, where it was $1.98 for 10,000 points. So basically, $1 would get you 5,000 points. Is pretty much the way that would work if you divided that out. Obviously, now we've been in this mercy period, so we've got the purple here. So this has been going up at a factor of 1.05 per day. You can see it's really climbing. So we finished off at $1.98. Then once we moved over to the mercy period, it's $2.08. Keeps this going up day after day after day. And of course, here we are on day 89 since the sacrifice phase started on day 1 there. And it's $60.24, folks. $6.24. So I think you can see by the chart, should I sacrifice tokens now for pulse points? My answer would be no. No, it's not what the best strategy to do. As Alex said the other day, I think the best strategy pretty much is to buy Hex and get a copy of Hex on the Pulse chain and get some P Hex. So they don't have P Hex and E Hex. It's probably the best strategy. This is very poor as well. So obviously $60.24 for 10,000 points compared to what people were getting. So it's up, that's a huge rate. Let's have a look at the bonding curve here. We're going to go through the thing. So here's the actual numbers underneath that chart. So you can see that we had 10,000 points. Then obviously it went up $1.05, keeps going up, of course. And then we ended up at $1.98, and people were getting 5,000 points. So obviously you're best to do it here. And I believe that day 2 was actually the best based on the price at the time, market price of Hex as well. So if we slowly scroll through here, let me just scroll down from here. You can see that just keeps going up. We've got the date here on the right here. So you've got August here, just climbing through August. You just see it just keep going up. You actually see that the amounts sacrifice points on this column per USDC just keeps going down. So that's per $1. So you can see the points per $1 keep going down, and here we are in September, and still going down. And of course, you've got through September here down to 258. So you can see the points really start to drop. You're talking about people getting $1 for 10,000 points at the beginning, and now you're getting 192 points. It really is pretty dismal. So my answer to that is no. So hopefully that's a bit of insightful there as well. So that's where we're at the moment. So this is the day we're on at the moment. So the 10th here, 166 points. So it really is getting pretty bad. 158, 150, 151. You see it's just really getting pretty bad there. So definitely, if you have people asking you, or you're thinking about yourself, definitely I strongly suggest that you don't do it. Obviously not investment advice. You've got to do your own due diligence, but I think the spreadsheet speaks for itself. At $60, and you get for each dollar you get 166 points, compared to people who got in early 10,000 points. So quite a big difference there. And that doesn't include the scale fact, of course. It's just the base points. Doesn't include the scaling amount, of course, which people get. So pretty important there. Alex Casey sacrifice for day 1719 don't count for the 1.75, but it's irrelevant now. That's right. So that was the only difference, these points here on these days there. So that's what Alex talking about. But it's just been going up pretty horrendously since there. So just take that into account. All right, so that was probably the main point there. So sacrifice is over. Probably better to jump on. Obviously, Hex is actually looking probably moving to a nice price range. We was sitting at 43 cents, and has been moving sideways for about 3 weeks into a nice bullish flag, but hasn't moved yet. So definitely looks like it's possibly a good time to pick up some Hex on that case. As well. It may go down just a little bit further, so it might be something just to keep monitoring at the moment. Let's go to, that's the daily at the moment, so it's been going down the last day. Let's have a look at the year to date on this. So you can see that's nice there, looking good there. So we might get a nice explosion up the top there. It's just a matter of when it will be. It's going to be another week. I think I said that yesterday. It could be today. It could be another week. Could be quite a longer formation there. So, but definitely getting a better price, obviously, compared to most of the period recently, because it's now down near the bottom here. So it might get down to as low as 30, 38 or something, but it might just start shooting up as well and go to that new high. So keep a watch out of that. We kind of technically hit 51 cents back here. A couple of spikes. The thing with Hex price, it does get a bot front run with bots, so we get a lot of spikes in it in the price chart. There's yeah, that's just interesting that's the case. There's no one's really set up a thing to stop that. So yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing in the Hex price to get such big bots. So you do need to be careful with your slippage amounts. I would say. So yeah, so that's looking pretty good at the moment to pick up some nice bags. Like I say, you might be able to get even a bit better deal if it comes down to the bottom, near the bottom here. But I am expecting it to move up to the next high soon with this nice formation that we've got. We saw back here, we got this other formation back here, and we were back up at 8.5 cents here. This was probably the biggest move here, and obviously we moved up pretty cool. We actually had a pullback, and then bam, moved up to this massive flag here. So it's pretty impressive, right? So this might be a bit longer. We'll see. What's that? 15th through to the 3rd, so that's about 3 weeks. I don't know if I've got the ruler on. I don't have the ruler on this one, but here we've got uh, we've got this moving out quite a bit period. So if we looked at oh, that's actually quite long from here. So it's got quite a long pole on it, but the flag part's pretty big. So I'm expecting it pretty much to move pretty soon. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, I can't perfectly predict the market, but definitely looking good there. And now it's probably some of the best time, but it may go a bit lower. So just take that into account. Something definitely to watch over the next 24 hours. All right, so that's pretty much that on that. Let's have a look on it was on nomics.com, by the way, if you want to check out the price there. Where one of the indexes where Hex is correctly ranked based on the mold market cap there, and down 7% over the day. So definitely getting into a good pickup range for this. But like I say, it can move down probably 37, 38 potentially. But we'll see how it gets on here. Ethereum obviously at 3,500, and Bitcoin moved up pretty nicely at 56.7. So really, it's going to have a go at it's definitely in bullish territory now. Going to have a go at the all-time high, 64. That would be pretty cool. Let's quickly check on Bitcoin just quickly as we go. Now, there is PulseChain on Reddit. Is pretty cool. I don't know if you checked that out. It has quite a good news flow on PulseChain on Reddit. I probably will cover a bit of that stuff moving ahead. But definitely, check that out because I think that's pretty cool. Let me go to all here. So yeah, we're not too far away. Look, I mean, we're not too far away from the Bitcoin all-time high. That's really bullish for PulseChain. If this could perfectly time out with a new time high, 70, 80,000 up to 100 plus thousand, in those two tiers, then that's super bullish for PulseChain valuation. Man, it's almost just like the stars are aligning. As long as PulseChain can launch. Now, my expectation for PulseChain launch is uh, mid December, maybe slightly later, maybe just before Christmas possibly. I was hoping that potentially it would be 2nd of December. That would be like the 2-year anniversary for Hex. It would be pretty kind of a cool moment to launch, but I don't think it will be quite ready by then. We know developers said December, so I'm thinking later December now, and potentially even January, but I'm thinking December. I think mid December, say just before Christmas time. So I think that's probably where I'm at with the timeline at the moment on that. We went through the other day. We went through on the PulseChain testnet. We talked all about that stuff the other day. Was it yesterday or the day before? Can't remember now. We did the last live stream, but yeah, gonna look to do more on PulseChain. Super pump mentals. Now I think back on the sacrifice itself, when you go to the ETH address for the sacrifice, that all those whales that are sitting at the top there, they're going to be providing huge economic energy, not only financially but also I think a few of them will be building, involved in I guess syndicates or in businesses that will be building on the Pulse chain. So they're going to add a lot of value. So I actually see quite a few of them not actually selling much, but actually trying to probably take supply off the Pulse chain market when it launches, and also set up their businesses on Pulse chain. Maybe they're going to be a validator if they've got an alignment with Richard, perhaps, or maybe maybe they've got other businesses that are going to be built on top of PulseChain, because obviously any project can go on PulseChain, right? So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. And they'll just clip the ticket, right? They'll just set up big businesses to clip the ticket and suck off supply of Pulse, and then it's a win-win for them that way. Some of them are quite big, right? So it's going to be interesting to see that. We've obviously got, it looks like we've got a couple of Genesis wallets sitting inside a lot of the top sacrifice wallets as well. That's when I say Genesis, Ethereum Genesis wallets. They've got tens of thousands of ETH, hundreds of thousands of ETH. And typically they have a lot of other wallets that you don't see. Obviously, they use exchanges like Binance and other things, and they're moving funds around. It seems to be, quite a few involved in the big sacrifices. So it's going to be pretty fun to see that play out as well. But I have a feeling that if they are, building on in the ecosystem, as some have indicated, that you're going to get some big buyers in there. So it might actually, the price chart might actually surprise to the like any volatility to the downside might quickly be eaten up within a couple of weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out, and people that get out on a small couple of X's, for example, might deeply regret it, which is what I'm feeling is going to be the case. I'm pretty sure the pumpermentals that Richard's setting up and his alliances with some pretty big money bag players, and not just money bag players, but people that want to make more money by setting up businesses in the PulseChain ecosystem. I'm pretty sure that they're looking at creating scarcity themselves, accelerating the scarcity, because we know obviously the PulseChain starts with the total number of tokens, and it's going to just go down forever. And so they're being able to create a lot of economic value inside the ecosystem. Then that's going to push PulseChain up pretty fast. It might surprise a lot of people based on typical businesses and typical amount of supply of PulseChain. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's pretty exciting. So very cool. Let's get into it. We've got David Gomez in there. Pound that like button, everybody. Yeah, get into that like button, folks. I have been thinking about starting up a PulseChain channel. Let me know in the chat if you think I should do a dedicated one. And if I do, then I'll probably end up doing specialized ones. But I'm happy to do it on this channel at the moment. But let me know if you think that's a good idea. Because I was going to go through quite a few of the pumpermentals as well. So I may just do it on this channel. We'll see how we get on there. All right, so there we are, folks. That's the bonding curve there. Mercy period is well in play. It's yeah, I just wouldn't sacrifice at all. I think it's you got a lot of X's in here and the PulseChain upside. Obviously, these people here got in really cheap, and probably most of you are in that camp. So people get a certain amount of X's. You're always going to get a certain amount of people. They're going to sell their pulse when the price pumps. You're always going to get a certain amount there. But I happen to think that in this case, I think even if the dips will be short run with some big buyer bags out there. I don't see a lot of the big whales looking to just dump early on. See them, trying to build huge wealth bags that way with income, that sort of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. Yeah, typically people can't help themselves. They get a couple X bags, and woohoo, good times, and they're out, and they miss out the hundreds and the thousands of X's, right? So that's just the way it goes. So yeah, I just think that's going to be the case. Plus, you are, those people. That's what I mean with these people here. You're getting them pretty high there, so I would just not suggest not doing that, and just buy Hex up, especially with the price pulling back at the moment, as we showed before. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, so I'm not going to go through some of the Hex stuff at the moment today. I'll probably do that in maybe tomorrow or the next day, going through the supply and demand, because that's directly related to PulseChain ecosystem, really, because there's so many Hexkins that are pretty wealthy these days. You got your shark Hexkins, you got your dolphin Hexkins, you got your squid Hexkins are pretty up there now too. Most of them, anyway. I would say probably 80-90% of the squids are now pretty much probably million, at least reached that million mark probably. And then you've got turtles coming up the line pretty strongly as well. And I guess in the 150,000 US plus mark in the turtles there. And then obviously followed by the smaller smaller ones which are growing huge in numbers. You look at the numbers, 10, 20,000 numbers on stake. If you've got Staker app, you can see that. So if you haven't got Staker app, you should get it. And you can see all the smaller fish there climbing up big numbers. And I imagine that's going to keep growing quite big. So it's pretty fascinating watching that stuff at the moment. The other thing, of course, is that the one thing I'm watching is the number of Hex the next 2-3 months. As I pointed out, I think yesterday or the day before when I did a video live stream, is that the number of stakers coming out. Actually, I might pull that particular chart up. Let me just pull that up. I'm pretty sure I've got that. No, I haven't. Let me just put up the Hex.vision. It's on the Hex.vision. Yeah. And pull it. I think there's a pretty important chart, so we'll pick this one up because I think actually this is going to actually add to the fundamentals for Hex and PulseChain. So let's pull this up. I actually should pull up the sacrifice address again too. Might be a good idea. Let me get into that. All right, so let me have a look here. We're going to go down to the bottom here. This is on Hex.vision, and you can see that we've got a couple of months left, man. It's pretty crazy. So that's September already. We've finished that one. So it's really this one here is that we're in the current last big month. With this the biggest month left. And then we've got next month. So this one in November. And then by the time we get to December, really starting to get into small candles. We're getting rid of these are the last of the what I call the big candles for staking, and then you've got this is really exciting to see this. And then I imagine I'm just thinking what that do, but I imagine we're going to start getting some stakes filled out in this area here as well. So and then some people holding a lot of liquid, of course, with the PulseChain coming in around this period. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens here. But I think this is definitely a factor in the fundamentals that's going to play out as well. So look out for that, folks. It's probably worth looking at the liquid amount of Hex that's around in December as well, compared to now. And of course, you can see that on the we've got circulating supply here. We've got circulating Hex, but obviously a lot of that's in the OA wallet, and you'd need to separate that out based on previous audit that was done earlier this year. I think it was March. So that's pretty much it. But fascinating to see that. We've definitely got some lower stakes happening at the moment. So it's still growing pretty well, but you definitely got a few lower stake levels at the moment, but still growing strongly despite the fact. I imagine that once the fork, as I said, I think in the last video, as the fork comes up, man, you're going to see a rebound in the growth again as well. Because the staking amount is getting up pretty high, 9.9, and the total addresses here is 371,742. So that's still up pretty decent. You can see it's smaller than it was, but I mean that was growing 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 at some stages about 4 weeks ago. So it's got a lot going for it. But once this goes up, this tapers off, man. Look at this is what we're going to have. This chart here is going to look like this. So I don't know if I've got the actual. So once you get I think that might work if I do that. Let me just wait for that to recalibrate. Yeah, I'm not sure if I had that work quite well as I expected, but pretty sure you're supposed to do that, but maybe that's not, let's see if that goes that way. I don't want to have to manually change it. I thought it was any other drag. Let me drag that. Not sure if that's going to work. Yeah, it's not working anyway. Just imagine that those had fallen off in 2 months' time. That's pretty much it. So once that goes, that's a real game changer. And those we might see them pushed out further, distributed along here to people preserve their T shares, or they might try to do a sell down. We'll just see how that plays out. David Gomez says possible DeFi loan smart contract backed by Pulse to be launched on PulseChain. More research will need to be done, but if successful, not a scam. PulseChain Pulse price, so many pump mentors for PulseChain in general. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm expecting a lot of DeFi on Pulse because it's going to be you're going to own your keys and own your coins. And the other thing, of course, on the business side, as I said earlier, there's lots of a lot of those big sacrifices are likely to buy more Pulse. And especially if there's big dips. And the other thing is a lot of them, as I said earlier, will be building out DeFi stuff on the Pulse platform. It is the holy grail. I know that Richard was saying that he wants to get PulseChain up and running, even if it doesn't have a bridge, a Uniswap. He just wants to get the chain up. He says once that's done, you've still got your biggest fork and airdrop in history. So in any case, that was kind of the minimum viable product, is just to get that up and running. So no doubt they'll still be trying to get the a version 2 Uniswap up copy running. But that's the basic idea, is just to get it up and running, and then you can add on the other things in a pretty quick order. So watch out for that. That is super bullish for sure. All right, so pretty cool. Let me have a look here. So yeah, once again, sacrifice is over. I have had quite a few people ask me about whether I should sacrifice or not. I definitely think that the chart speaks for itself. You should probably, the best strategy is just to buy Hex, get a copy of that, and if you can get a good price, which at the moment looks like it's getting in a pretty good price range, plus or minus a few cents, then yeah, you're picking up a pretty good deal. That case, but obviously not investment advice, just infotainment. You need to do your own research, of course. But yeah, looking not too bad. So I think that's pretty much it for today's session. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Feel free to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, of course, and I'll hopefully bring another topic to you around PulseChain pretty shortly. So until next time, see you then. Cheers.